You gotta be you. And the last thing is when you're marked. Somebody say marked. Marked. When you're marked, you have to have the audacity to honor. Now this one hurts because this means that you have to do like David did, because he defeats Goliath, he cuts off his head. He got groupies now. It's like, oh my God, look at David, look at him. Oh, look how ain't he fine. Like that now, he didn't have that before. And one day, the groupies made a song and they was like, David sleep 10,000, saw 1,000. David, like that's what happened. That's what the Bible says, read it. And Saul got jealous, and for a decade plus, he starts trying to kill the person who won victories for him. What does this say to you? That many times the people that you've been fighting for and the relationships you've been fighting for and the things that you've been trying to keep together, at some point, if they turn on you, know you're in good company. It hurts, and it feels like you have to go on the run, but this is one of those hits. See, if you don't see this one coming, your bestie will take you out of the game. I thought you believed in me. And they walk away. And you say, well, maybe God didn't call me. No, baby, you're marked. God has a call on your life before you were formed in your mother's womb. He wants to get all of that out of you. But then what do you do when you have the opportunity to tell their dirty laundry and gossip, and somebody calls you for a job reference for them? You have to have the audacity to honor. Amen. David did not use what he knew about Saul to take him out. There's a specific story that tells that he was in a cave and Saul was relieving himself. And David's voice was like, yo, bro, there's Saul right there. And he was like, kill him. And David's like, is that Saul? He's like, kill him. And he went over, he was like, it sounded like a good idea, because it always sounds like a good idea to get revenge in the moment. And he got close enough to him to kill him, but he just cuts off a piece of his robe. And this is what happens in 1 Samuel 24:6. It says, so he said to his men, may the Lord not let me put out my hand against, look at these words, my leader. For he is the Lord's chosen one. What are you saying, Pastor Mike? Until God moves Saul or your boss or your person that's of frustration to you or trying to kill you, until he moves them, they're still your leader. And so God's already dealing with them based on their actions, but you will disqualify yourself based on your actions if you do not have the audacity to honor. Pastor Mike, why are you so passionate about this? Why is this coming out of you? Because this is not a cute story. This is what I'm living. No, hear what I'm saying. Pastor Stephen asked me to tell this story. And I want to tell it because somebody's in here and you know you're marked by God, but life has come to hit you. This was about a year ago. God told me, he said, you're supposed to be at Inside Elevation. And so I'm in Tulsa-Oklahoma 2 days before the conference. I had tried to get in before. It was a 1,000-person waiting list. And I knew God was stirring something in me. And he said, you're marked and you're anointed and you're approved in private. Nobody knows you, but I'm doing something in your life. And there was no tickets. And I said, God, there's no tickets. And he said, I told you you're supposed to be in North Carolina tomorrow. And I had to be obedient to God, even though it didn't make sense. So I asked my wife, I said, hey, can I spend a large sum of money that we don't have to obey God? And she was like, do you got a ticket? I said, no. She said, well, why are you going? I said, because I got to obey God. She said, well, you've led this family strong. I trust you and believe you. Lord, be the supplier. I get on a plane 6 a.m. Monday morning. I get here at 1 o'clock. I come over to the campus. And nobody's here except the interns. And I met a man named Johnny Merkel. And Johnny was like, man, I'm so pumped up about your faith to come out here. I don't have a ticket for you, but I'm just telling you. Thanks, Johnny. It's my boy, I love you, man. And so he said, all I can do is tell you to come back. And maybe if somebody cancels, we'll let you in. I'm out here on faith, standing in that parking lot, 5 o'clock. can't let you in. 6 o'clock, can't let you in. 7 o'clock comes and I hear the bass start rumbling. And I said, God, I thought you told me I was supposed to be here. He said, I did. Wait on me. Wait on me. So I'm standing in the parking lot and I said, well, if I'm not gonna get in, I'm gonna be the resurrected King is resurrecting me. By your spirit, I'm outside. And I was just like, at least I'm gonna get my worship experience in on the parking lot. 7:05 comes. And they say, somebody canceled and we can let you in. I didn't have a seat in the auditorium. And I start coming in and I'm looking at everything. I was like, God, you're so faithful. And I walk in this tunnel and I come to this seat right here. And for a day and a half, I sat in this seat. And Pastor Stephen began to speak into my life and he said, you're gonna win from within and you're gonna go pro. And God began to download into me everything that I needed to go back and finish my assignment. And then come August 2017, I was so impacted that I went back, I bootleg recorded it so I could show my whole staff, forgive me, but I was just so impacted by what happened. And I like to thank people that impact my life. So I was like, man, I want to thank Pastor Stephen. God, if you give me an opportunity. August comes around and one of my friends in the city, Paul Doherty, he's having a conference that Pastor Stephen's coming to. I call him up like, bro, I'm coming. Stevie preaching. I want to be there. He's like, bro, don't even worry about it. I'm going to sit you right next to him. I was like, what? And this is what happened. As I was walking in, God said, you're not supposed to meet him. Don't talk to him. Don't say anything to him. I said, it's Stevie. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I just want to thank him. He said, I don't want you to do this. I want to do it. So Paul's up there. Stephen and Chunk is sitting right in front of me. Okay? And Paul says, why don't you turn around and greet your neighbor? And I said, Susan, hello. And I met a woman named Susan. This is a true story. But God was teaching me, don't lean on your own understanding. Like, don't do this your way. I'm trying to build something in your life. This is August. October, I get a message from my sister and she says, hey, check your DM. Pastor Stephen's trying to get in contact with you. I said, they must have some other Stephens at that church. 5 minutes later, I get a text from his assistant, and it's a 1:41 voice note that he recorded. And he said, I saw you. I was looking for my sermon on YouTube, and you were the next one, and I watched your whole message. And he said, and I was so refreshed and impacted, and God has marked you, and you're anointed, and all that. For a minute, and I was like, Stevie. Now listen. This is October. I'm good now because I didn't make that happen. God made it happen. And God said, Michael, that's a mini miracle, an M-I-N-I miracle, so you can know I can do a M-A-N-Y, many miracles. I said, because I've marked you. So then I go and I say, okay, well, I'm good. I'm just going to keep on my assignment. I'm going to do the last thing God told me to do, and I'm going to spend time in the presence of God. I get a call at the beginning of the year. My secretary, I'm in the office, she said, Mike, elevation is on the phone. I said, don't even play with me. Don't even do that. She said, they want you to come do all of their weekend services the week after Easter. There you go. Nice. I said, what are you saying to me? She said, they want you to come. And at that moment, I realized that God was writing a story that no man could get credit for. Okay? So watch what happened. We were already planning on coming back to Inside Elevation with a team of people. They called and said, hey, we want to actually host you when you come this time. I said, what you mean host? We have seats for you. We want you to be refreshed. Pastor Stephen wants to meet you. And at that moment, it was just like I had a surreal moment. God said, I'm the one that can take you from not having a seat in the auditorium to 12 months later, being escorted to a seat with your name on it. Oh, y'all better hear me in this. Y'all better hear me that God is the one. Woo! And I stand here before you today, not as somebody who's a professional minister. I stand before you as somebody that was marked and approved in private. And God raised me up. He gave me an elevation. Hear what I'm saying to you. He's no respecter of persons. That if you will go through this process of allowing God to do this thing, he will do things that nobody will believe. And he gets all the glory. Come on, let's give God some praise in this place. If you know you're marked,